Mr. President, welcome to Axios.
Thank you.
We wanted this to be a conversation, not a typical interview jumping from topic to topic.
Okay.
And we wanted to do it the way Axios likes, something big. Okay, so the big question we want to address is power, how you think about it, and the military. A decade ago you became president, and you've had a lot of experience since then. In that time, what is the big lesson you've learned about exercising power?
Well, I think you have to do it with judgment. I think experience is very good. I always say that potential is much more important and valuable. In other words, having skill is more important than experience. Having both is good. And I learned a lot during the first administration. And someone told me the other day we had Gisette trembling and Gisette very dominant. What did we get? What I wanted. And someone said the other day that this is an administration or term much more powerful than the first by far. We had a good first term, the best economy, good things. We rebuilt the military. But I feel that this term is more powerful than the first. Well, that comes with experience. It also comes from having someone who preceded you and was a disaster. The man was a disaster. And so when you're compared to someone like that, you seem better than you actually are. But I feel like it's a very powerful administration at this moment. A really strong administration right now.
He mentioned the G7 summit and saw several leaders there.
Viu vários líderes
Sim.
mundiais.
You walked in and said, I'm the boss. Yes. How many of them believed that?
All of them. I was just kidding.
Yes.
What happened is that they were all sitting, and then I walked into the room, and it was funny because they have a long table, but there are 7 of them. The table is for like 30 people, so the whole end of the table looked almost like a perfect podium setup, right? And I saw everyone sitting there, very well-known figures, the heads of state. As you know, there were a few more. Some like, for example, Modi from India. Great guy. A lot of people came, or they can come and sit. But I went in there with those leaders and looked at them. I said, I'm the boss, and you remember me. This spread around the world. I can't believe it. I was just being cute, funny. I wasn't trying to be the boss.
You have experience with world leaders from your 2 terms. What's your definition of a leader?
Well, you have many types of leaders. Yesterday, as an example, I mentioned the name again. Very good, you know. All my life I have observed India. They kept changing. Someone would stay for 6 months after a year. He has been there for more than 12 years. Very solid. He does it with great calm. And yet, he is not a calm person. He's a tough guy. I know him well. And you have different leaders. I watched Brazil. The leader I know little about is a very volatile and unpredictable person, you know? He's very unstable.
Aren't you a fan of Lula?
Not a fan. Yeah, I don't think about him, to be honest. I don't think about him. I couldn't care less. But he's a different person now, volatile. I watched while he gave his speech, and it was all right. It was really good. So, when you talk about leaders, what do they all have in common? Look, yes, they're all smart. You can't reach that level without intelligence. Do you know who's very smart? President Xi. He is a very smart man. You don't reach those levels running a country, even if it were a small country. You have something special. Now, in some cases, it doesn't work. But you need something special. It's not an easy thing to do.
What do you consider most admirable about Xi?
We have a very good relationship. And you probably heard me say yesterday, I said that I want to thank him very much, because he didn't get involved with the whole Iran issue. He could have gotten involved. He could have sent an oil tanker with 12 destroyers to break through the blockade. An unbelievable military action. I think this will be known as a great military maneuver. It was just as important as all the bombing we did. They were dying. They'd had no money or anything for months. But President Xi, I asked him, I said, I would really appreciate it if you didn't get involved. And he was great. He didn't get involved. And if someone else had said that, I don't think I would have asked him, but I did. I get along with him. He's a strong man. He doesn't play. He doesn't sit down and say, "Oh, what a beautiful day, wonderful day, Mark. Look how beautiful. Look at the sunset." There's none of that. That's the kind of thing I like. I think it's great.
Is there something in the Chinese system that benefits you and your country that you wish you had here? Yes.
Well, actually, it should be a disadvantage, you know? We have entrepreneurship and all the things you read about, but they're there just as fast as we are. When something becomes trendy, we arrive and find the Chinese already there. Or we beat them by a little, but we're winning in AI. We have the strongest military in the world. We have the most powerful army. He admitted it. You have the most powerful one. It's building. I built our armed forces in the first term, and I did a good job. Look, take a look at Venezuela. In 48 minutes, it was all over. And, by the way, now we have a great relationship, and we've already paid for that war with Venezuela many times. And we're extracting millions of barrels of oil and making more money than ever. All the big oil companies are coming in. It's incredible. There's no other place with so much oil. We have the most. And they're probably in second or third place.
Obviously, if I ask you who are the two greatest leaders you like the most in the world right now, I would assume one of them is Xi.
Yes, I think that in terms of leadership, that's true.
Well, who is the other one? When you think about power, leverage is the ability to execute. Thank you.
They announced some very good numbers. He stays out of wars, which is smart. He has about 5 billion people. He is the biggest. India is the biggest. Now, we do a lot of business. They're not happy about it because they used to do better. Modi is great. She is great. Classic, you know. If you were to make a movie about any of them, you wouldn't be able to find a man like that in Hollywood, you know? I'm telling you, it's true. It's like, for example, Xi's appearance. He looks great, you know? Looks don't matter. We don't like to say it. Don't talk about looks. But he's tall. He's 6'2", 1.88 meters. He has great physical presence. He has great confidence and is intelligent. Modi, in a very different way, is respected. I've seen it, you know. I know the real Modi, a tough nut to crack. I'll tell you, you have. I discovered something I didn't know. In Pakistan, you have the field marshal, a high-ranking officer. Who's great? Munir, he's great. And there's the prime minister. They get along well. I thought, well, maybe the military. He respects the prime minister. It's a beautiful thing to see. But they really helped us with this deal. They knew the Iranians and the people, and they were good. There are leaders of so many kinds. In most cases, if you're a smart person, you can understand. You know, you have to be in those positions. You have to be smart. You have to be strong. Maybe even smarter, but the combination is better. But we have great leaders and very bad leaders, who I know.
We'll talk about that.
Who is the evil one?
Both, the weaker ones.
Well, I can't say that because I can't say. I'll tell you, however, that these last few days have been very interesting. It took place in France, and Emmanuel Macron, who won't be there for much longer, is the current president of this country. And he was, let me tell you what, he did a great job. He hosted the G7 summit. Really, really good job. No games, nothing. He invited me a week before. He said, "Would you do me a favor? Would you come to Paris? We would like to honor you." I see this as a tribute to the nation, but he said, "I would like to honor you." And he had the greatest people in Europe. And it is, and I was kind of not going to do it. But he knew my weakness because I think Versailles is one of the most incredible places. But no, it's incredible, and it's not something they do. I understand that they don't do that.
And we had dinner.
I think he did a fantastic job with Gisette. I've seen many Gisettes, a lot of them. And before they were Goitos. They should have kept the Goito. There probably wouldn't be a war between Russia and Ukraine if they had. Obama didn't want Putin there. They wanted Putin out. That was the Goito. It would have been much better if they had kept it. Now the
light at the end of the tunnel for the conflict. What did you learn not only about the exercise of power, but also about its limits as a result of the conflict?
there are no limits. No, I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know they exist, but there are no limits. We defeated them militarily. I was asked by Pakistan, since they are close, not to do anything else. I said, I like them a lot. I think there are no limits. We have the most powerful army. Who else could have made a blockade like this? I set up a naval blockade where no ship could get through. Some tried, but it didn't last long.
And it certainly brought Iran to the table more than before. However, at the beginning of the conflict, you said you only wanted unconditional surrender.
Well, it really is an unconditional surrender without any conditions.
Is that it?
I think so. Look, they don't have any military. They're at the bottom of the sea, 159 ships.
Certainly, but they could threaten. They only had these small ones, up to a certain point.
Well, look, you can call it whatever you want. Or hear about the JCPOA, Obama's nuclear catastrophe, which was so bad. When Obama left, he didn't hit the military, of course. He didn't damage the Navy, nor did he destroy the Air Force. I destroyed the Air Force. I destroyed their anti-aircraft weapons.
We were flying completely unimpeded.
We turned off the stealth. They couldn't do anything. He didn't do any of those things. He didn't kill their leadership. I killed them twice, 2.5 times. He didn't do anything with Soleimani. I personally was the one who killed Soleimani.
And you killed the Ayatollah.
I killed the Ayatollah.
Brilliant.
Unfortunately, I hurt the other Ayatollah. I didn't meet him in person, nor did I speak with him, but people
I spoke.
a lot about him
But there's a certain bravery to him,
because he was seriously,
a sense of authority, unquestionable and profound respect.
yes,
The son, Junior. However, with all that being true, well,
you can't just say, forget it, I destroyed your armies. No way. For those people who say, maybe I wasn't strong enough, I've already given up. I demolished their biggest bridge because they were late to the meeting. They said that wasn't cool. You know that bridge? It's the George Washington Bridge. I destroyed it in 3 minutes. I took Hark Island and everything except one thing, and I said, leave the pipes alone. I don't want to hurt the economy. So I think we were tough. People listen, people who say, he could have been tougher. The whole army disappeared. Done, the Air Force was gone. Do you agree?
I was discouraged.
There are no planes, yes.
No. Okay, they broke the things by themselves, that's all.
They're gone. The Navy, 159 ships at the bottom of the sea. Leadership. Their first leaders all gone, including Khomeini, the first one. Then they put a new group there, very good but unpleasant. I dealt with them, they're gone.
We're now handling the third group, which I believe is the smartest.
Actually, I think it's a regime change. They're distinct groups. Why do you...
Because they are.
Different people.
But you have Khomeini Jr. Many IRGC officers remain.
They are different. Khomeini is not the same as his father. They won't sail with rockets. To finish, I looked.
Oil is dropping, their ships are leaving.
They want to go home. They're all covered in oil. I mean, look, we have 700 or 800 ships leaving right now. But if I attack them, none of those ships will leave. The stock market is up, way, way up. You know the stock market has gone up in the last 4 or 5 days, when it looks like we're going to make a deal? The stock market has gone up by a few thousand points.
Everyone is richer. Now, do you prefer this or to be like stupid people?
I'll be honest with you. I've lost respect for some people. I don't want to mention names, I can't. But you know, the hardliners, you have to get rid of them. Let me tell you, I'm not looking to kill. I have one main goal as president when it comes to the people. I never want to be the great Herbert Hoover. This is the kind of thing that could cause a worldwide depression. Did you know that in the last 2 months I took many ships there and nobody knew? Do you know why they didn't know? Because we took down the radar. We took it down, we took down defense equipment, and they couldn't tell. Last week we had one night with 25 ships, one night with 22, one night with 19, one night with 20, and so every night with all these vessels. People always said, where does this oil come from? Nobody knew. We would leave at 1 in the morning with all the lights off, and we would have our Navy destroyers sailing by our side. They didn't have any kind of equipment because we destroyed all the equipment that would normally be used to detect us. I spent a month and a half taking many ships there every night at 1 in the morning, and we were never detected until about a week ago, when I announced that we were doing this.
Well, the New York Times reported that you were involved in an operation with about 20 ships. I wanted to change. I shouldn't have.
I mean, if they did, they shouldn't have. Well, no. That's not patriotic at all.
Well, I wanted to talk about Cuba and AI.
We'll do that, and we have to do it quickly because they're waiting for me.
You had said
That if
Cuba is, or rather, if Iran ends, then it's Cuba's turn. There's a countdown clock in Cuba, please.
it's a flexible line, but Marco is very involved. He does a great job, by the way. My people do a great job. But Marco's parents, such a good story, were from Cuba. So you agree that I defeated Venezuela incredibly? 100%? I got him out of there.
How can the operation in Cuba be done?
More like the operation in Venezuela, which is more... No, Cuba has a beautiful coastline.
How can we make it resemble the operation in Venezuela more?
The operation in Iran, in a way, is much bigger and more complex and requires more resources. Much more powerful in terms of weaponry than Venezuela. But Venezuela is a military state, They have many soldiers. We entered that fort with thousands of soldiers, and we went in with 201 people. The pilot was brave. He had his leg torn off from below by the machine gunner who escaped from a bad life. A bad death, unfortunately. No, I think it's Venezuela as a country. Here's the thing. Venezuela was so amazing, it was really amazing, right? Yes, we waited. At the right moment I said, let's do this now. We waited for the weather. We had to wait 6 days. Bad weather. The pilot said, sir, we want to do this. We went in less than ideal conditions. They didn't care. Actually, it lasted 48 minutes. This is arm. There are many good soldiers.
Thank you. Now, if we look closely at Iran,
They have been doing this kind of thing for 47 years. They have been provoking you and everyone else, the media, every day. They are very good with the press, the fake media. And I told the truth a short time ago. I said that if I had the white flag of surrender raised, and if they said, praise Trump, the greatest president, we surrendered. The New York Times would write, we won the war, they lost credibility. So yeah, it's a very different kind of place from Venezuela. But Venezuela knows. We are managing Venezuela with the people that we... Do you think possibly...
The operation in Cuba runs in a similar way to
This one. That's right. I love everything, so thank you.
that. I wanted to present this to you, the map of the Western Hemisphere, not as a gift, right? But when you look at this, you see this as the American Hemisphere.
More and more,
Yes.
we are more respected. We had a man who couldn't climb stairs, and I don't want to talk about that. Because if he trips, they'll say, terrible. It can happen, but don't trip all the time. We had a man who wasn't respected, he wasn't intelligent. He was the worst thing that happened to the elderly. I have friends who are 93, 95 years old, Gary Player, great golfer. That golfer shot 71. He's 90 years old, and mentally he's the same as he was 30 years ago. There are a lot of people. Biden was the worst thing that ever happened to seniors, because you, the public, were not honest with them. The public saw it. He was a disaster. Do you know the worst thing he did? Inflation was really bad, but that wasn't the worst. The worst part was that I inherited all of this. Look at what's happening with prices. Now they're going down, and with oil, they're really going down. I had to go on a tour for a group of very volatile people who are smart. Very smart, The Iranians, they're very intelligent people. They're a kind of primitive genius, but they're smart. You know what I mean? I had to stop them, because if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. And you want to see chaos? Let them blow up cities. They would have blown up Israel. If it weren't for me, Israel wouldn't exist today. Because I ended Barack Hussein Obama's deal, the JCPOA, which was a direct path to a nuclear weapon. They would have had it. They would have used it in the first week. Israel wouldn't be with us. Israel would have disappeared years ago. Now, what surprised me the most was that they waited so long. They waited until I came back. They didn't do it intentionally and didn't expect me to return. Many others felt the same due to instrumentalization. They instrumentalized the government, but I came back with a roar. Better than before, I think. Better than before. And think about that. Israel would have disappeared if we hadn't hit them with the B-2 bombers. They were that Rick material. It was a month. I was there. They could have come in. Now they can't. That's settled. Amon the mountain collapsed on him. It collapsed on him. They would have used Israel. They would use it in Saudi Arabia, too. You saw that in Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain? Because when that war started, to my biggest surprise, almost immediately, missiles were flying to other countries. I said, why is he doing that? And you know what that did? It brought 5 countries to me. They were great.
And finally, artificial intelligence, a transformative technology.
Just excuse me one moment. If it weren't for Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu, who worked well with me, he would say, we have the weapons. It's us with the full agreement. We're the ones who have the B-2 bombers. If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
What's your relationship with Netanyahu?
It's fine, but we need to keep him sane. So let's go.
Will you be able to control Israel so that it doesn't attack Lebanon?
Yes, I will be. I want to. They have a lot of respect for me and do exactly what I say, absolutely. Remember that. If I don't end the JCPOA, the path to, remember, that was the path to a nuclear weapon legally. It's written right there. And Obama thought he could bribe them. He gave billions of dollars, about 7 billion. You know, it was a well-known story, but it didn't work. You can't bribe your way out or pay your way out. If I hadn't done that, and if I hadn't attacked their nuclear stockpile 10 months ago with the B-2 bombers, Israel wouldn't exist today.
So, artificial intelligence. That wasn't a very skillful transition. Do you see artificial intelligence as a weapon?
Well, if misused, it could be. If used correctly, let me tell you something, it's huge. Yes. It's bigger than anything. Much bigger than the internet. It's bigger than anything. I've seen the different things emerge. It's an era where they like us and we're pleasant. Smart people like us. We'll see what happens. This AI is really amazing. Now, it's unbelievable. You'll have medical cures coming 20 and 25 years earlier because of this. You'll have other things happening. But you have to understand, watch. We have a situation with Anthropic and we didn't like what they were doing. And so far, I think they've behaved very responsibly regarding our request.
Do you see Anthropic and to some extent its CEO, Dario Amodei, as a threat to national security?
Well, not now, but maybe a week ago. I was with him yesterday. He gave a speech. I gave a speech in the G7 room. And he seems like a nice and smart guy. But he responded to us very quickly. Because it's a tremendous, huge, and significant responsibility. People get arrested immediately for this. You can't mess around with it. He responded responsibly. I thought,
as his presidential term nears its end, he still has 2 years left ahead of him.
I think we have enough time.
Each presidency lasts 5 years and
a life cycle that unfolds
over time. And when the president reaches his second term, the final half of that term, his party usually loses control of the House. His approval ratings usually go down, and he starts to weaken. And that's happening to you.
No, it's not. How do you maintain it? Research?
Fake research.
Like great numbers. I would beat any of their candidates by 25. definitely 25 points. I have great numbers for people, including about their experiences and learning and growth you have been building on.
Their experiences and learning and growth. You have the Senate.
So,
You will miss it and the people who make everything happen.
well, it's early. I don't like to talk about it. 2.5 years is a long time. I love the building. Yeah, I'm fixing the building. You see the granite they had, stones, broken. The marble is broken. The tiles they have are trash from a low-class place that sells junk. This is the White House. You saw the white floor? You saw the beautiful granite? I fix it. I pay for it. I don't want money. And the White House will soon be in better shape than it was. I'm building what will be one of the largest ballrooms and safety networks anywhere in the world. It's all bulletproof glass. These are drone-proof rooms, and soon it will be in better shape than it is. Fortunately, we have appellate judges. I've done well with the appellate judges, but not so well with some of those judges who probably have Trump derangement syndrome. But I must say, to finish, we turned Washington, D.C. from a death trap into one of the safest cities in America.
President, did you enjoy your time? I know you've been in a hurry today. I don't think you slept. Did you sleep? You flew here.
I had 2 hours for you. 2 hours. You need more than 2 hours for him, right? Thank you. Well,
Thank you for your time.
thank you.